Well, hello, and welcome back to a movie review. They've returned. Yes. There won't be a wrestling one until next week, because that's when WrestleMania is. And there'll be two videos for that. Ooh, content. But, yes, today is my movie review, which I haven't done since last year. And the last one I did was Endgame. And I did say at the end of that video that the next one was going to be Toy Story 4. Ooh. Yes. So I went to see Toy Story 4 on the 15th of September 2019. But the original film was released on June 21st, 2019. That was in America. I think we got it around the same day. I went to see it with my good friend Jonathan. Big shout out to him. His name is Stanky Lad. He has a YouTube channel. Watch it. It's very good. Also, there may be some content coming up next month that we will be doing together. So, ooh, yes. Yes, watch him. He's good. Yes. And we both went to see it, and it was one of those like child things, like with like you get it's cheaper, and there's like a children's the showing, really. Like it's like how I went to see Fantastic Beasts. It's the same thing. Yeah. I thought it was very good. I thought that it was a good film. The animation was very good. I thought the story was good. But I didn't think they needed to do this. I don't think they needed this film to exist, really, because Toy Story 3 ended in a good way. Because it was like a very heartbreaking ending. And they didn't really need to bring it back, because the ending kind of implied that things were moving forward, that we didn't need to see what was happening next. But then we ended up doing so anyway. So, the basic plot for this film, which was released by Disney, just to make people aware it's obvious, though, because it's Toy Story. Everyone knows Toy Story. Unless you're not cultured. Yeah. So, yes, this one basically is about Bonnie and how the toys that she got from Andy at the end of Toy Story 3, so Woody, Bo Peep, Bullseye. Actually, no, Bo Peep we find out had been taken away earlier in Toy Story 2. But, yeah, so basically this film is about like Woody and Buzz realising that Bonnie doesn't care for them as much as Andy used to. And that Bonnie wants to create new toys, and so she creates Forky. Or Forky the Spork. And Forky is this, like, very kind of self-deprecating character who hates himself and wants to become one with trash. And that's the whole point of the movie. It is a very childish movie, but because it's Toy Story, it's quite nostalgic, so you still enjoy it, even being 17 as I was when I went to see it. And so it basically is that Forky ends up getting lost. He jumps out the RV because Bonnie, they all go on a road trip and Forky leaves. So Woody goes after him because Woody realises that Forky is to Bonnie what he was to Andy. So he needs to get him back because she needs a toy. She needs, like, her toy. And so basically it kind of, like, Woody and Forky end up in this antique shop somehow, and they meet Gabby, who is the villain of this film, because she wants a voice, because she wants to be part of a family like the other toys were, but she doesn't. Her voice thing at the back, the string, is broken, and so she hatches a plan to get Woody's one and give it to her, and she nearly does it, but then, or does she? I think Woody. I haven't seen this film in a while, but I think Woody gives it to her in the end, because it turns out that she just wants a kid, and she wants a kid to look after her, and that's, I guess, a good way to do it, because towards the end, Woody gives back Forky, and then Woody decides to go off with Bo Peep and be a free doll or toy, because Bonnie doesn't need him anymore. And that's the end of the film. That's how they should end Toy Story. I think, even though this film wasn't needed, the plot kind of gives a good ending, as in Woody's gone, so we don't need another film, because they've left it in a good place. But they did leave it in a good place in Toy Story 3, arguably. But yes, this is a bit more of a ramble, because there's a lot to this film. There's, the other characters do a lot in it, but, I mean, I guess we'll just have to see whether they do another one. I mean, it's about 100 minutes long. I guess it's alright. It's about an hour 40? Yes, that's maths. It's good maths. I do A-level maths. Yes, so the cast. Now, the cast of this film is, as always, so Tom Hanks as Woody, Tim Allen as Buzz Lightyear, Tony Hale playing Forky, that's new, Keegan-Michael Key and Jordan Peele play the Duck and the Bunny, who are like toys who want to be owned as well. Jordan Peele is most notably famous for the films Get Out and Us. And I've seen Get Out. I saw that last week, and that was very good. I will be reviewing that at some point. Yes. But, yeah, Keanu Reeves is in it as well. He plays Duke Kaboom, who is a character who basically is one of those flippy toys on a bike that kind of... the toy didn't work, so somebody threw him out, and so he wants to prove himself, and that's his character, basically. And then you have... the normals. You have Mr. Potato Head, Mr. Potato Head. Timothy Dalton, I always forget, is in this. He's the not the porcupine, the hedgehog. He's Mr. Pricklepants. Yes, this is very childish, but very good. Yeah, it's just kind of like a bunch of actors who are like good actors just being in it. So like you've got Bill Hader, Ricky Henderson, Joan Cusack as Jessie, again, John Ratzenberg as Ham, I think also Gabby, from what this says, is played by Christina Hendricks, who is a famous actress. I have no idea what she's been in, but I know she exists. Yeah. Yeah, so, I think each character was given something to do. Each character is given, something to do. The other toys, they're not... Well, the other toys, apart from Woody and Forky and Buzz, in a way, none of the other characters do anything. They're all... their whole thing is them being what they were, but they don't have anything involved in the story. They just stay in the RV. That is all they do. Because Bonnie doesn't play with them. They're not caught up with the whole Woody getting kidnapped thing. So nothing happens. So, I guess. And, oh yes, I forgot, at the end of the film, Bonnie creates another Forky, but it's a female Forky. And then Forky falls in love with her. Right at the very end. I think that's in the, credits scene. Yeah. Yeah. I've just read that, this is on Wikipedia again, because I like Wikipedia. Woody willingly sacrifices his voice box in exchange for Forky, so he does lose the thing. I forgot if he did or not. But I guess that's just my brain. This film, I think, got a few awards. No, it's notably at the Oscars. Interesting. Yeah, so at the Oscars, it was nominated for Best Original Song, because I think there was a song in it, probably during the credits. I have no idea, because I think I'd left by that point. Like, I watched the film again, and that's when I noticed the after credit scene, but I don't think I stayed in the cinema for it. And it also won Best Animated Feature. And this is interesting because it is the first franchise to win Best Animated Feature twice. Because I think the original Toy Story won it back in 1985. I think it was the first film. Or was it Toy Story 2 or 3? It was one of them. But yeah. And yes, this was the 8th highest grossing film of 2019. And it grossed $1.073 billion worldwide. And it's the highest grossing installment in the Toy Story franchise. And his 5th highest grossing animated film of all time. Probably Frozen is above that because it is Frozen. I don't think it had any... Oh, here we are. Possible sequel. Confirmed that after Pixar would return its focus to making original films instead of sequels. So this suggests that there might not be a sequel, but apparently the director did not rule out a sequel. So yeah, Tim Allen hinted that a 5th film is possible, which also expressed interest in doing another film. They're doing a spin-off film to do with Buzz Lightyear, which will have Chris Evans in it, as in Captain America Chris Evans, and he will play Buzz Lightyear before he became a famous toy. And apparently this film, surprisingly, was given a lawsuit at the back end of last year, September 23rd, which was about a week after I saw the film. Apparently, Evel Knievel's son, the biker guy, his son, Robbie Knievel, sued Disney because apparently Duke Kaboom was his likeness and was used without permission. So I guess Disney's got another lawsuit. I mean, they've had them before. Looks like they'll be fine. I mean, nobody really cares about lawsuits, do they? I mean, obviously, if they're very important, but if it's like business-wise, they're useless, aren't they? Yeah, this... I thought this film was alright. Like, I think it's a good Toy Story film, but it's not a good... Like, out of all the animated films I've ever seen, I wouldn't consider it like my top 10. Like, it was good, it's just not up there. Some of the other Toy Stories are, like, I'd say Toy Story 1 is probably in the top 5. But, yeah. I don't think Toy Story 4 kind of lived up to what it was meant to be. Or what it was trying to achieve. Because it's trying to achieve... Like, I think Disney realised... This, like, because the year that this came out, they'd also had, like, Cars 3 and Incredibles 2, like, recently, before this came out. So I think what they were doing a lot of sequels to their older films. So they wanted another sequel to this, because they thought, this will get us money, and people like it, so people will go to see it, and children and adults will enjoy it, because it's kind of like an overriding thing, because there are like some adult jokes within it, but I don't think it's specifically needed as a film, but it was still good. I'm not saying that it wasn't, but yeah, I don't think it's the best Toy Story film. Like, I think I always say the worst is Toy Story 2. I don't like Toy Story 2 because the Prospector character annoys me. But I think the best one is 1 or 3. I'd say 1. I think it goes 1, 3, 4, 2. But I wouldn't necessarily say that 4's bad. It's just mediocre. Yeah. So I think this is... that should be it for this. I think there's nothing really... that much about it. I mean, I'll be able to see what the music soundtrack. Apparently Randy Newman composed some new songs for it, so I assume that's the song that was nominated for the Oscar. Yeah, probably. Or it might have been I Can't Let You Throw Yourself Away, which was made for this as well. So maybe that was nominated. I'm not entirely sure. I'll have to have a look. But yes, so that was Toy Story 4. And next time, we're going to have a much more serious film, but it is my favourite film of all time, which is Joker. Oh, I can't say it. There, Joker. Yes, my favourite film, starring my favourite actor, so that'll be enjoyable, but that will probably be not next week because I'm doing wrestling next week and I'll already have 2 videos going up, so I don't really want to overstuff things. So might it be the week after? Depends. It'll probably be some point. But yes, I enjoyed the Toy Story 4. That's my lasting impressions. It was enjoyable but forgettable, arguably. So, yeah. And as I said before, do check out my friend Jonathan's channel called Stanky Lad, where I've joined him in a podcast. There's already one up on the channel, and when COVID restrictions are open, we should be able to film another one. Ooh. Yes. Thank you for watching, if indeed you still are. Good Crystal Maze reference there. Probably nobody watches Crystal Maze. That's a shame. But yes, thank you for watching, and I'll see you for my favourite film.